Now, we will have namas that will describe the path of light. Archis means fire. Fire thereby emits light. So, Archiradi Margam means the path made of fire which is light, the path of light. So, the Jivatma has to exit the body. When the Jivatma exits this Pancha Bhautika Shariram, which is the Sthula Shariram, it acquires a smaller body called as Sthula Shariram. So, the Sthula Shariram with the Jivatma exits the body. There are 101 nadis that go from Hridaya Kamalam above. If the Jivatma exits through the first 100 nadis, then there is every possibility that it will go to Swarga Naraka Adi Lokam and will be born on this earth again. Whether as human being or an animal is a different question. There is birth again. But if the Jivatma with the Sukshma Shariram goes out through the 101st nadi called as Sushumna nadi, then it travels through the path of light and reaches Vaikuntham. So there is no coming back. How does it travel? What does it travel? What all it crosses is the next set of 11 namas. I will take the 881st nama. So it is like a ladder, how the Jivatma exits. The 881st nama is Jyotihi Tadarohana Nishrenya Archiradigatehe Prathamam Padam Archiraha Jyotihi. So in the path to reach the Lord, he becomes the first step called the light. So he says, Tadarohana Nishrenya Archiradigatehe Prathamam Padam Archiraha. So fire or light becomes the first step. After that, Suruchihi Suryodayadrochata Ruchiraha Masya Shobhaneti Suruchihi. So as the rays of the sun start coming, it spreads across 12 hours of the day. It could vary place to place. So this portion where there is light during that particular duration is called the day. So from the light or fire he goes through the day. Shobhaneti Suruchihi. Next is Hutabhug Vibhuhu. Hutabhug Vibhuhu is Amrita Parinamam Hutam Bhunjanaha Somo Yasmin Shukla Pakshadvara Vibhuhu Purno Bhavati Saha Hutabhug Vibhuhu. So as this Jivatma crosses, it travels through the day, that period when the moon goes from Amavasya, from new moon, to full moon, Paurnima. So here it takes the 15-day travel. So this particular portion is called as Shukla Paksham. That is why we have been told time again by our ancestors that during Shukla Paksham, if the Jivatma departs, then there is no waiting period. In Krishna Paksham, there is a waiting period and then it has to wait for the Shukla Paksham. This is what we have been told. Now don't ask me whether I have seen the Jivatma. I am believing in what our Acharyas have said. I am believing in what the Pustakam says. Next, Ravihi Utthana Kalayata Yoga Gayanadvara Ruyate Prashasyata Iti Ravihi. He then goes to that period from the middle of January roughly, where the month begins till the mid of July. This is the period where the sun's rays traces the path around the northern hemisphere. It's called Uttarayana Punyakalam. So Uttarayana Punyakalam is the next step. That is why we have been told by our ancestors that Bhīṣmacharya on the bed of arrows, he recited Vishnu Sahasranama, Moksha Dharma, Rajya Dharma. He waited for, because he had the boon of Ichhamrityu, he waited for the period when Uttarayanam will be born. That is why even in the beautiful temple of Angkor Wat constructed in the 12th and the 13th century by Suryavarman II of the Khmer dynasty in Siam Reap in Cambodia, there is one wall which is dedicated to Mahabharata exclusively. There you will have Bheeshma lying on a bed of arrows. And the beauty is, on the day of Uttarayana's birth, around the mid of January, the sun's rays falls exactly on Bhīṣmacharya. It's an architectural marvel. So the point is, Uttarayana Punyakalam is being waited for. That is the 884th nama. Next nama is Virochanaha, 885th nama. Dvabhyam ayanagati-bhyam sambatsaro rathenadityam virochayati iti Virochanaha. Dvabhyam ayanagati-bhyam. After crossing the two ayanas, Uttarayana, Dakshinayana, sambatsaropi rathenadityam. So Adityam, sun, has a Rathi, he is the Rathi, and Sarathi is Aruna. There are 7 horses, and his chariot has only one wheel. That one wheel is a completion of 1 year. So that is why we call it Samvatsaram. Vikari Nama Samvatsare, Vijayanama Samvatsare, Jayanama Samvatsare. So we call it by the year. So that is Virochanaha. So Virochanaha denotes the Samvatsara path taken. Next is Suryaha. Vayuhu Sada Saratyasmat iti Suryaha. The one who always keeps moving. Who is he? Vayu. Hence Vayu, since he keeps moving like the Vayu, the Lord is referred to as Suryaha. The next nama is Savita. Surya dvara vrishti sasyadikam suta iti savita. Sun, what it does, it absorbs water through its rays. Kam pibati iti kapihi. So Surya is called Kapi because he starts drinking water. He retains the consumed water in the clouds and at the right time showers that water so that there can be cultivation. So there is absorption and precipitation. So there is taking of water and giving of water. He does that through a medium called the sun. So he is called as Savita. The next nama is Ravilochanaha. Ravi Rashmi Sankrantyadi Mukhyena Chandra Vidyud Varunan Lochayati iti Ravilochanaha. So he says, now the 8th, 9th and the 10th steps taken by the Jivatma to go in the Archiradi Margam. So he says, Chandra, that is moon. Next is Vidyut, which is lightning. And then we have Varuna Lokam. So we have got Chandra Lokam, Chandra Mandalam, then Vidyut and Varuna Mandalam, which has to be crossed by the Jivatma. Next, it is the 889th Nama, which is Ananta Huta Bhuk Bhokta. What does Ananta Huta Bhuk Bhokta mean? He says, Sapta Tantushu Hutam Bhunkta Itindro Hutabhuk Prajabhunakti Palayati Iti Prajapatir Bhokta Tau Mahantavasyeti Ananta Hutabhuk Bhokta. Or the yagas that we perform, largely we say Indra Yaiswaha. So the Havis is given to Indra. So Saptatantushu Hutam Bhunkta. Through Saptatantru, through fire we give the Havis to Itindro Hutabhuk for Indra. Praja Bhunakti for the sustenance of all the Praja who have been created. Who does that? Prajapatir Bhokta. So there is a Prajapati called Brahma. Then the Jivatma has to cause Indralokam and Brahmalokam. So this Hutabhuk Bhokta denotes Indralokam and Brahmalokam, which has to be crossed. The next Nama is 890th Nama, which is Sukhadaha. Amanava Mukhena Sprishtva Savasanam Samsaram Utsarya Swapti Sukham Dadati Sukhadaha. So this is the 13th step, where there is a person called Amanava. Now, the moment the Jivatma reaches through the Sukshma Shariram there in Sri Vaikuntham, he will come and touch. When Amanava Karasparsham happens, the body will attain Sarupyam with the Lord. So we will have a body which is similar to that of the Lord. If he is Nilatoyeta Madhyastha, we will also become Nilatoyeta Madhyastha. If he has a certain hue, we will also have the certain hue. If he has Shankam Chakram, we will also have Shankam Chakram. This Sarupyam is got or received by Amanava Karasparsham. So he is called Sukhadaha. The next Nama is 891st Nama, which is Naikadaha. Ekam dadati tyekadaha tadviruddhaha naikadaha asankheya malanjana vasaha prabhriti brahmalankaradinyo muktabhyu utthana vido divya apsarasyosyeti naikadaha. So once the Jivatma has a Amanava Karasparsham and enters Vaikuntha Lokam, then he is received with Purna Kumbham. He is given various flowers. You may be asking, sir, flowers are grown there also. Whatever is the equivalent of flower in that Lokam will be given. So you have to be very careful when understanding it from the metaphysical state. So here he says, Malabjana Vasaha, so Chandanam will be given, flowers will be given, then they will be welcomed with Purna Kumbham, then there will be Apsara Stris who will be welcoming. Now you may be wondering, why should Apsara Stree come? Why can't Apsara Purusha come? It moreover has nothing to do with male or female. It has to do with the very concept that he is being welcomed with such great fanfare. So he is called as Naikadaha. So Naikadaha is the last of the namas in the set of 11 namas that speak about the Jivatma's journey in the path of light from the Hridaya Kamalam, starting from Sushumna Nadi, exiting it, crossing the sun, crossing the day, crossing the Shukla Paksham, crossing the Uttarayana Punyakalam, and then there is a Chandra Mandalam, there is a Vayu Mandalam, there is a Varuna Mandalam, Indraloka, Brahmaloka, and then Amanavakara Sparsham, and then finally it gets welcomed with various objects. When I say objects, those padarthams which are equivalent there, that the Jivatma has entered Sri Vaikuntham. So these set of 11 namas, 881st to 891, 11 namas denoted. If you remember, the 880th nama said, the Lord will become the means and will showcase the path to the Muktatma, to the one who was a Baddhatma and is going to Paramapadam. Those namas, how is the path going to be, has been denoted in these set of 11 namas.